10 through 6, and you should probably go listen to that one first because it might, I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter what order, but I would go to where should people go to listen to that?
The best place is talkingdeadpodcast.com. That's the site, but just search for The Talking Dead in iTunes and you will find it there too. And we number these 10 through 1, but really the numbers are almost meaningless. So yeah, listen to this first and then go on our. Yeah.
Cool. So this is, as you guys mentioned, this is this is our fourth one of these, but the first one we've done after having met. Did it feel much different?
No, not really.
I didn't think so either.
We're pretty friendly. We're good. I like being on your show instead of being on my own show. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it too, because as I'm going along on your guys' show, I'm like, all I have to do is talk, and then I don't have to do the editing or anything.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
You know what? We should totally just switch shows.
Yeah, that would solve it.
Good. Or just do what I do and just make Chris do all the work, and all I do is show up and talk.
Okay,
right.
It's Chris, can
you
edit our show?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I have enough trouble getting our own out.
That's not a terrible idea. You charge a small fee and you edit and post other people's podcasts.
Or a large fee.
All they do is talk, and then for a large fee, whatever. I think there's a business opportunity there for sure.
All right, I'll think about it.
Okay.
So I think we just had a small event happen in the last podcast. I think in part 1, we convinced you guys to come to Walker Stalker Con Atlanta. Did I hear that right?
It's closer than it was before we started the podcast.
Okay.
I'll say that for sure.
Nice work.
I would love to go to every one of them because the 2 I've been to were the best conventions I've been to, the best time I've had at a convention. And it's too bad I can't make it to Boston next month, but Atlanta, we're thinking about it more than we were 2 hours ago.
It's compelling, and I'm tempted, and I think I'm going to. I'm prompted now to have the conversation with my wife and to check on vacation opportunities at work.
Cool.
There you go. Step 1.
Step 1.
Just so the listeners know, it just feels like, from what James and Eric have saying, there's been a lot of buzz around Atlanta, and I think it's going to be much bigger this year. And if you guys want to check it out, go to walkerstalkercon.com and you'll see where all the Walker Stalker cons are during the year. But if Chris and Jason end up going in Atlanta this October, then you'll get to meet those 2. And Karen, you'll be there too, right?
I am.
And me, and I think Mr. Blog is going to go, and Pete Elani, and probably the
Gracie.
Watching Dead guys, and Gracie Lou. Yeah, so it's going to be an awesome time. Also, I just did want to mention, if you're in the Boston area or feel like going to Boston, there's one coming up next month. They've announced a bunch of great guests. It's kind of a Boondock Saints, I can't ever say that, Boondock Saints 15th anniversary thing. So it's Norman Reedus, Sean Patrick Flannery, and David Delarocco, but also Stephen Yun, Lauren Cohan, Michael Cudlitz, Elena Masterson, Chad Coleman, Josh McDermott. I'm excited about Brighton Charbonneau and Kyla Kennedy because I want, hopefully we'll get to do a Lizzie Mika panel. Emma Bell, who played Amy, is going to be there. That'll be fun. So anyway, that's coming up soon. But without further ado, let's get into the main event here.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5. It's our part 2 of our top 10 highlights for Walking Dead Season 4. And we'll let you 2 decide who wants to go first.
All right, should we rock, paper, scissors it?
Sure.
All right, let's not do that.
All right.
You go first. I'll go first. Number 5. So my number 5 is the funny structure to the season, or at least what I perceived as kind of a funny structure.
Funny haha or funny comedic?
Funny like...
Or funny peculiar?
Peculiar, maybe.
Funny haha or funny comedic?
Either one. You get to choose.
Those being sort of the same thing. No, I felt like that the first 8 episodes should have been part of season 3.
Right.
And the second 8 episodes were part of season 5, which I know doesn't make a whole lot of sense because we haven't seen season 5 yet. but I think it's at least almost like a preamble to season 5. And I can't help but think of the season in these terms, like season 3 and season 5. Like this is some sort of big transition between 3 and 5. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of funny. I think Scott Gimple had to come in, and it's taken him a while, even though the season was really good, it's taken him a while to put his mark on it. And at first he was kind of removing what he didn't like from the previous seasons. And in the second half, he was laying the groundwork for what he wants to do as the showrunner moving forward. So big transition in season 4. And I can't help but feel like it was sort of part of 2 other seasons, but now we're done all that, and we're going to get into season 5, and it's going to be awesome, hopefully.
Right. So you see this more as a transition season.
Yeah.
The first half being a transition from the last season.
Right.
And the second half being the transition to the next season.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's good.
Interesting.
All right, so my number 5 is very similar, and it has to do with the fact that Scott Gimple made it through the entire season without getting fired, which is quite the
A Walking
quite the
Dead
achievement.
first.
And it's similar in that the first half of the season, he had to take care of old business. He had to get rid of the governor. He had to make it, get that storyline out of the way and get to. I guess it's exactly the same as yours. Get to what he wanted to do and how do we get there. And I think he did a really good job on getting us to the next phase of this show.
Do you guys have a feeling like that? Like this was sort of a transition from one to the next?
I not real. I mean, I definitely see what you're talking about, especially, wanting to sort of pay off the governor in a way that people felt like wasn't their, hopes and expectations weren't met last season. So that there had to be time spent on that. But I have to say, I feel like he did it all with such just really juicy plots and great character development and these amazing moments that it didn't feel like, oh, this is a workmanlike way to get us away from where we don't want to be to where we do want to be. It felt like some great TV to me. So I didn't feel, I don't like to think that it was somehow lesser for having done what it did, but I do feel like, it was sort of transitioning away from the Mazzara era and into the Gimple era.
Yeah, I don't think I'm saying that it's lesser, but I felt it, and I just felt him, feeling a need to put his stamp on it, and he had to do all these things first before he could really properly take over the control of the show here. So, and I mean, bottom line is, I think for the most part, he did a great job. I don't even want to say with what he had, because Glenn Mazzara did a lot of good stuff too. It's just, I don't think he really nailed the landing on season 3. So from where Scott Gimple was starting, he pulled it off, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mazzara, especially the first half of season 3, gave the show the kick that it needed, but some of the things that I didn't like were that the zombies seemed less scary and less of a threat, and I think right from the first episode, Gimple changed that. So there were some things that he corrected right off the bat, and they were just immediately satisfying to me. That was cool.
And I wonder have you both read the comics so you know it's coming?
I've read everything.
I'm up to issue 100, which is a bit behind, but it's farther ahead than the TV show.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that informs your feelings of how this is a transitional season. Like, I don't know what's coming at all. And so,
right.
I mean, if there's something big coming, and you could sort of view it that way,
For sure, but I don't even really mean sort of, like, I'm trying not to think ahead too far in terms of what they're going to do on the show, but I don't know where it's going. And storyline, like, I'm not really thinking transition in terms of storyline, just transition in terms of where it was left and sort of the style the show had, and where at the time we kind of thought it was going to where I want it to be, or where I think it should be in terms of tone and style and stuff like that. So I think Scott Gimple has a very different concept of what the show should be than Glenn Mazzara did. And I could feel that change over. And it took the most of the season, but I could feel them doing it. As for where the story's going, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
All right. You, Karen, you want to go?
Okay, so my number 5 is the introduction of 3 new fabulous characters: Dr. Eugene Porter, Sergeant Abraham Ford, and Rosita Espinosa. I thought all 3 of them were the most intriguing characters so far, pretty much. I loved them. I thought they were a breath of fresh air. And I can't wait to spend more time with them. I like that they have sort of a positive purpose. They're not there to, they're there to save humanity, rather than just, we're going to kill you and eat you or eat you. I love the actor who plays, I love all 3 actors, but I especially love the actor who plays Eugene Porter, Josh McDermott. He's so fantastic. His delivery is just wonderful. Lines like, "I was in an amped up state due to rapid firing weapons." I mean, what's not to love about that? So, those 3, I could watch them for a long, long time.
Are they going to get their own spin-off show? Like the
yes, please.
The lone gunman from the X-Files?
Right.
How they got their own show for a little while there?
Are you saying that they're more intriguing than any of the other characters that have ever been on the show?
Oh, sorry. In season 4.
The
To me.
newly introduced?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
They were
Okay.
they were what I thought for season 4, they were the ones that I wanted to watch the most.
Got it.
I loved a lot of
Came-
the other characters, but those 3 were great.
At first, I gotta say they came off a little bit cartoony for me, especially Abraham. But I've already gotten used to them, and I'm already totally on board because Eugene is hilarious and interesting, and you're right. At least they have a mission and they're trying to do something, and we'll find out more about that down the road, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I totally agree with that. I think they're really interesting in and of themselves, but they come off, especially Abraham and Eugene, so like caricatures or something, or that they're tonally different than the other people on the show, that it feels like they stepped in from another show and they don't totally, for me at least, fit in with the rest of the show. But I want them to, and they're not that far off. But especially Eugene just seems like not as much of a real grounded person as the others are. In fact, Eugene almost makes me miss Milton because he's a little more believable to me of a autistic type. So, I had those feelings about them. I mean, I did like them just as far as they were interesting to watch and stuff like that, but they just didn't seem to fit.
Oh, I disagree.
You know what it is? It feels like, I just realized, it feels like to me they haven't been through some of the crazy stuff that all the other characters have been through. It feels like they're 2 years into the zombie apocalypse and they haven't had to live through all the horrible things that everyone else has. That's
Really?
I think kind of, yeah, I think they feel,
They're all
it feels
shiny.
like they just have it together. They're all
yeah,
shiny and new.
you
They
haven't
haven't
seen
together
what they've
too
been
much.
through.
I know, but they have to be able to portray that in their characterizations, and I don't know if they've been able to do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they just need time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
I really hope that as season 5 goes on, that we get to know them better and that they get fleshed out more and feel more like real people.
I hope they're not
But
the first ones
even-
eaten.
Yeah, even
Me too.
Michonne was a caricature for a long time. She was, the tough, brooding, tough guy type. But now she's much more of a fleshed out character, and I really enjoy her character. So maybe if we give Eugene and we give them all a chance, they'll be much richer characters as we learn about them.
That's a great point, because I felt almost the same way about Michonne, that I actually liked that she was on the show, and I thought Denai Guerrera looked just like her, the way she was portrayed. But yeah, that she came off a little comic booky, and then as time went on, I don't even think about that anymore. So it's almost exactly the same. Okay, it's my turn, right? Mm-hmm. But before I start, I just wanted to reiterate that I felt like this was the best season yet, and I thought Scott Gimple did a fantastic job. I especially because it felt like it was deeper in a lot of respects. There were things that connected, and and the characters felt a little more solid, and there wasn't as many of the flaws that Walking Dead has had before, where I feel like it gets too soap opera-ish, or the people are speechifying a lot and stuff. And so I wanted us to say how we rank the seasons in order of favorites to least favorite.
Okay.
You guys
1,
go.
4, 2, 3.
What?
1, 4, 2, 3.
4, 2.
1, 4, 2, 3.
I like the first season the best, and then the fourth season. This season is second best, and then 2 and 3.
2, 3.
I totally agree with that. Number 1, number 4, number 2, then number 3.
You guys make good partners.
You do. I have to say I'm 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm 4, 3, 1, 2, but I could go 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're pretty close.
Yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
I could flip 1 and 2 also. You're right.
Yeah, the partners stick together.
I still think season 1 is the best. It has the single best episode of all 4 seasons, in my opinion.
The pilot.
Yeah. Yep. And I still have stuck to that after 4 years. I think it's going to be difficult for the show to do something that I think is better than the pilot. And then season 4 was good, even though it was weird, as I said. And 2 I liked, and 3, yeah, definitely the bottom of the heap.
Yeah, see, for me, season 1, because of the pilot episode, and also you had Daryl throwing a bandolier of dead squirrels at Rick. And how can you beat that?
That's hard to beat. It's true.
Season 1, to me, the pilot is right up there among my favorites, but I have to say some of the episodes in season 3 and now in season 4, especially how they're more like a horror movie, and that's something that I've really wanted from Walking Dead and thought was missing in the first 2 seasons. I'm like, yeah, this is right up there with that. But the rest of the season I wanted it to be good, and it was pretty good, but it didn't hold up to that level. And there were only 6 episodes, and I thought the last one was kind of a stinker. So that's why I don't rate it as high.
You didn't like the Center for Disease Control, eh?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was okay with it. I mean, the big sort of computer thing, and then the idea that it can just self-destruct itself was a bit weird, but I didn't mind it. I mean, to me, it seemed logical. If you were right there beside the Center for Disease Control and something was like this was happening, you might go there.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not the computer that has such a good AI that it can talk to you like a real person. Because look, Siri, you know what? If Siri had been out before that, I bet you they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was before Siri.
Yeah.
True. We all know how good Siri is.
Okay, so my number 5 is actually the horror moviness of the season. There were a lot of scenes this year that felt like they were paying much more attention to making it scarier and like horror movies. There were tribute zombies. Bub from Day of the Dead was in there. The scary opening of episode 2 with Karen wandering in the dark in the prison, or the scenes that I was saying when everyone's getting sick all at once inside that holding cell and overwhelming Herschel, and the zombies are breaking through the fence and sieging. I mean, I love zombie sieges because that goes back to Night of the Living Dead when they're stuck in a little house and there's zombies all around. So it felt like that. Something like in the first Governor episode when he goes to that, it was either an old folks home or a hospital, and it's just really creepy and like just creepy old zombies. And then there was that one in the bathtub that killed himself and tried to kill himself and didn't have any legs or something. I forget. Or when Daryl and Beth were locked in the trunk and the zombies were scratching at them. Just scary. And then just having a mortuary at all, but scenes in the mortuary. So I felt like the zombies were scarier in general this season, also more threatening in a lot of ways than ever before, and I really love that. And I think it's essential for this show to keep the zombies not always central to the plot, but to bring them back in and have them be really important from time to time and to be really scary.
And they looked great this season too. Shout out to Greg Nicotero and his crew. My God, there were some, just they were just fabulously gory zombies, and the ones in the tunnel that you could see light through them. Oh, great.
That was good.
Totally, yeah. And the ones all stuck in the rocks and stuff. They're so creative too. The burnt zombies.
Oh yeah, the crispy zombies. They were great.
They got to keep doing that, though. They got to keep making them interesting. But hearing you just list off all those different sort of creepy horror type scenes reminded me of all of them and made me like it even more, I think, because
Cool.
I'd totally forgotten about that one in the bathtub where with the governor. And that was good stuff for sure.
Cool. I think it's your turn.
It is my turn. My number 4, this is probably a quick one, but the governor and his reintroduction and his demise. I think I've already said that I didn't love those 2 governor episodes, but I also didn't hate them. And I think Scott Gimple did a good job of bringing him back in and sort of resolving that storyline. But having already kind of talked about that a little bit, maybe I can mention that out of that story, we got Tara. And she has been sort of funny, hasn't done too much on the show yet, but if for nothing else, she will be there to cause some tension amongst the group because, as we all know, Glenn lied to Maggie about his relationship with Tara leaving the prison. So we do have that tension to look forward to. And I'm hoping they'll, pay it off in some sort of way. Hopefully they don't kill her off right in the premiere of season 5, escaping the boxcar or something like that, because I think there's something there and it'll be an interesting character to explore a little bit.
I think she's going to be the first to go. I really do think that she's, if they got to kill somebody, it's going to be her.
You're calling it right now, but then why would they introduce that lie there? They're going to want to do something with that.
I don't know. But I'm really bad at this. I thought that that Herschel was going to be killed in the cold open of season 3. I was way off on that.
I did too.
So.
Yeah.
The lie, I felt like it's a little too similar to Carol keeping the secret that she killed Karen and David, all season from Tyrese. And I'm like, another one just like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it won't be a big deal, but it's got to come into play somehow.
You'd think so.
You would think so, unless they just decide to kill her off. So I don't know, but I also don't want her to become like a hero too soon. If they decide to keep the character around and they want to make sure that there's no question about anyone's loyalty or whatever, they might give her too much and kind of make her a hero, build her up too fast. So I hope they don't do that either.
Yeah, I don't like when all the characters are heroes. I want some of them to be really flawed.
For sure.
She jumped into the governor's net really fast. I mean, she didn't question anything. She went, headlong into, okay, let's go get those jokers out of the prison. I mean, she took his word, and I'm mad at that. I'm still mad. I mean, I like her very much, and I think she's very remorseful, but that was a big mistake. They blindly followed that crazy guy. I'd like to think I wouldn't have done that. I'm sure probably would have, but I'd like to think I wouldn't have.
Oh, yeah. I'd have been long dead before that ever came out.
Yeah, that's true. I would not be around. You're right.
Yeah, that's a good point, Karen. Jason?
All right, so my number 4, we've covered this in the episode on the Talking Dead quite thoroughly, but my number 4 was Carol, Melissa McBride, in this episode. I really liked her character arc. I really liked what Melissa did with the character. I really like how everything that she's doing, and that she's doing questionable, if not downright nasty things. And man, I would hate to be a little different or a little sick near her.
In any way a threat.
Right.
Anyway, just any way to upset her sense of security, that just puts you right on the chopping block.
That's right. Look at the flowers, Jason.
I feel fine.
I don't
Everything's
like flowers.
good. It's just a tickle in my throat.
Okay, your turn, Karen.
Okay, my turn. Actually, I'm gonna take a pass because my number 4 was the shock of the Lizzie storyline, but we already covered that. So yeah, the Lizzie thing blew my head clean off.
What was it like when you saw that? Were you with David?
I was with David, and as I mentioned before, David is not a guy who is given to extremes or anything. He's really very cool, and I saw him on the chair next to me, and his jaw had dropped open. He had that shocked look on his face, and I'm like, "That's right, The Walking Dead, shocking my unflappable husband." Yeah, it was great. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I've got to say, it shocked me, they came back at just the right time because poor little baby. I would have hated to have both of them dead. As it was really unbelievably sad. But to have Judith dead would have been really, really hard.
Yeah, I love that she said. Looked over at Judith and was like, "I was just about to."
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I kind of did see it coming a little bit for various reasons, but I also couldn't believe that they went there. They had one sister kill the other and then have someone just take out the sister. Just really amazing stuff.
Yeah, The Walking Dead once again killing a bunch of little girls.
Yeah. It's my favorite episode. What does that say about us?
Wow, little girls really don't have a good track record on this show. It's true.
No, they need to kill some little boys. Come on.
For sure. Make it even. Make it fair.
Yeah. And horses. Oh, they're bad with horses too.
Yeah.
Watch out, Judith. Watch out.
Deers don't have it that great either, I guess. Okay, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Number 4. Okay, so my number 4 is the Governor's Arc, which we've talked about, but maybe I have my own little spin. I don't know. So basically, the Governor's Arc was 3 episodes. In the first one, he's kind of licking his wounds, and he seems almost humbled, and like maybe he might just drop, let go of all his past hurts and just, take his spot in this new group of people and be a good human being. But in the second episode, he just goes right to doing what is in his nature, which is to rise to the top through manipulation and treachery, and you could argue actually genuine competence, because he actually does get them organized and safer than they were before he was in charge, at least for a while. But I was never sure if it was always his intention to find a group and go back and attack Rick's group in the prison, or whether he just kind of fell into that situation and his darker nature took over. But I don't know if it matters, but anyways, it kind of does though, because I'd like to think that at least for a second, he thought maybe he would drop it. That's what they sure made it seem like that. Anyway, finally in the 3rd episode, he just has all out like road rage to the extreme and loses it and flames out and goes and wages war and loses. And I like the arc. It gave us the episode that people really wanted to see in the season 3 finale. I thought it felt rushed, but on the other hand, I would not have wanted them to have more episodes with just the Governor to do it, with a pacing that probably would have made it feel more natural or like it made more sense. I think it could be argued, as we've kind of touched on here, that they should have just done that in the season 3 finale. But then if you think about that, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of cool scenes with the Woodburyans and the sickness in the prison, which I liked. Also, we wouldn't have had the beginnings of this murder mystery or even just the Lizzie story at all. So I wouldn't have wanted that. Like if they had just had the Governor come at the end of last season, then we wouldn't have had all that. So I think that, even though it wasn't perfect, it was pretty good. That's my.
I had this crazy idea last, I don't know, on one of our shows during the second half, or maybe during the end of the first half, that they should have done the Governor story somehow in little bits and pieces throughout the first half of the season, rather than cram it all into 2 like full-on Governor episodes. And at the time I had said, what if the first 7 episodes of season 4, the cold open was Governor scenes? And so we didn't get very much, but maybe what we did get was really meaningful, and they were somehow able to tell his sort of redemption or comeback story in just little bits and pieces in each episode. And then it all sort of led up to or culminated into the season or the mid-season finale that we got. It probably would have been difficult to do, but I thought it might be a really, really cool way to handle it.
That's a great idea.
As an alternative to what they did.
Yeah, I think if they would have been able to do that well, that it could have been better. I agree.
Yep.
All right, well, let's go back and do that then.
Yeah.
I know Scott Gimple's email.
Yeah, send him an email. Hey, Scott, we want to redo season 4.
Yeah,
you mind?
I mean, somebody might
over.
just be able to try recutting that. I doubt it would work, but be worth a
Yeah,
shot.
some talented video editor out there go and recut the cold opens with just Governor and then lead up. That'd be cool.
We'll wait here.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, who's next? Chris.
Chris,
I am. Okay. This is my number three, I
Number 3.
guess. So my number 3 is Daryl, Beth, and the mystery of her abduction.
right.
And, I wanted to mention these two because they got their own episode exclusively to themselves, which I think a lot of people were going for. A lot of people wanted, especially all the Daryl fans, which there are many of, as you know. And that episode, though, didn't work so well for me, at least the first half of it. I enjoyed the second half or I enjoyed some of the character moments between the two of them at the end where they're talking and discussing whether there are any good people left and things like that. But the whole Beth looking for a drink storyline didn't work at all for me. And that was one of the only times you and I, Jason, have really disagreed on something, because I think you enjoyed that episode a lot more than I did. But for me, it just didn't really work, even though I thought they finished it strong. And then, of course, is it the next episode when they come up to the funeral home and she's taken away at the end? I think that's an interesting thing that I'm looking forward to finding out finding out more about what's going on there. So, Daryl and Beth.
What didn't you like about the alcohol part?
My problem with it is that I didn't believe in a world like this where survival, shelter, food, and water are the key things that you need to survive, that Beth would go on a mission for booze. Now, Bob Stuckey can totally see it. Other characters that have a history, it's clouded their mind. But Beth is a smart kid. She's not gonna go and give away, or she's not gonna stop looking for food and water to get a drink. I just didn't buy it, and I thought it took way too long into the episode.
Are you sure she's smart?
You see, and I completely disagree, because being a 17 or 18-year-old girl or a person, anybody who's 17 or 18, when your life is completely out of control like that and you have nothing left, everything, your entire world is broken down, and you're just going to fixate on something.
But
not in her case, it's just this alcohol, this one thing that she might be able to control.
I don't see it. I don't see alcohol as being a thing that you'd fixate on. I think your family, maybe, like if she just fixated on Daryl.
It's just one small thing. It could have been finding a yellow shirt, which she
and
did,
I think the point of it, she thinks that her family's dead, and the point of it is to kind of just, like anybody who's like, I need a drink, like, God, I need a drink right now.
Anybody who has said, boy, I need a drink right now, has had a drink before, and she had never had one. So I just don't think it would come into her mind to say, what I want to do right now is get wasted. I think she'd be like, Daryl, let's go find somewhere to spend the night and find some water.
Yeah, I completely and wholeheartedly disagree.
I do too. I love that. And I thought also that it played, that her father was an alcoholic, played into it. And that, I thought maybe they were going to chicken out and have her not take that drink so that she wouldn't follow in her father's footsteps. But I liked that they did have her go ahead and take a bunch of drinks, which was great. But then they did, burn the rest of the moonshine. So she was able to kind of let go of that legacy. But I don't know. I guess personally, if you have a point, I have had a drink before, but if I was in that situation, I could totally see myself going, well, we got nothing better to do. Let's go in for a drink.
I mean, she's heard about alcohol her whole life. It's been a thing, and the end seems pretty close, and she has a bucket list, and maybe that's just on her bucket list. She wants a drink.
It reminded me and Karen too of the scene or the whole thing in Zombieland with them looking for a Twinkie too.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a comedy.
See, Chris, by popular consensus, you are wrong.
Clearly, I am mistaken. All right.
That's not what we're saying.
I know.
Your opinion's valid.
Yeah,
Just,
your opinion's valid.
I did enjoy how the episode ended up. And once they got to that moonshine shack and sort of the themes of the episode came out a little bit more, I was fine with it. It's just how they got there. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you're
my
not
problem
alone.
was-
A lot of people I've heard said similar stuff too.
Yeah.
Like
My
the Walker
biggest problem with
Stalkers.
that episode was let's burn it down. Like, when in doubt, burn the building down. It really, that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, I mean, you have a place to sleep. Why burn it down? But it was symbolic, Jason.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
but they
it
physically
shows.
burned it. It wasn't a symbolic burn.
Well, no, the burn, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're in kind of F it mode, and they're just like, what, nothing really matters anymore. Just do it, kind of. Okay, whose turn is it now?
I think it's mine. We're on number 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick apart the first episode. And my problem was in 30 Days Without an Accident, when they were in the big spot and all the zombies on the roof started coming through the roof in various random spots instead of the whole roof collapsing. So multiple individual sections of the roof failed at exactly the same time. And I just simply call bullshit.
I don't know. Aren't you being a little too?
It just annoyed me that they had all these zombie bombs in the big spot, and the helicopter that crashed into the roof was the last thing to come through. Like, first the zombies comes through, and it wasn't even just one section that failed. It was multiple individual human-sized sections that failed in various locations on the roof before the helicopter that crashed into the roof caused a massive structural failure.
You're overthinking it.
Pretty
No, but-
awesome set piece, though.
It's great that Talking Dead, you guys have, Jason, you're always covering like those logical failures, more practical things. We don't really have that on ours, except the listeners will write in and do it for us sometimes.
I just get annoyed.
I just look at that scene as like a pretty cool set piece. Like it was fun to watch. It was exciting, thrilling, scary, and I didn't worry about who was coming through the ceiling first. But I can see your point. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it points to the fact that I don't really know how things work very well, so then I don't get disappointed.
I don't know how a roof works.
Yeah, it's just up there. That's right. Zombies. That's cool. Karen?
All right. So my number 3, actually the last 3 for me, I'm going to tell you what my 3 favorite episodes were. I'm just going to concentrate on that because they actually ended up being my last 3. So, and this one is not really the entire episode as much as it is the intro in particular. And so it's episode number 13, Alone. And it's the intro that's the Bob Stuckey flashback when he's wandering around very sad and lonely. Oh, it broke my heart. I love Lawrence Gilliard. Is that how you say his last name? Gilliard? I
Gilliard
love that
Jr., yeah.
actor. And he portrays the loneliness and the hopelessness. And it really makes you understand who he is today. So it was just that one sweet little intro. It didn't last very long. Nice music behind it, and you could also see why he drank. And I just thought it was beautiful. It made me cry.
Me too. I like that one. And it was a great contrast with the rest of the episode where he was all kind of glowing and happy and content.
Happy.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can see, okay, this is why. It's because it sucks to be alone in the zombie apocalypse. You want buddies.
This episode caused me to call him the Stuckey monster because he's not really a monster. He's just kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. So he was the Stuckey monster from this point forward for me.
Oh, the Stuckey monster. It's cute.
When he was introduced, he just had this cloud of trouble around him, especially since he said he was the last one standing in both of his 2 former groups. Mm-hmm. So it's like, whoa, what happened? So I was kind of hoping that would see some kind of full potential where he would really mess things up. And he was messing things up early on, but he seemed to have straightened out. And I did enjoy seeing that one person who seemed kind of, I kind of dig this in a sea of angst. But I also was a little disappointed that he didn't mess up in a major way.
He still might.
There's still time.
He still might.
Yeah, they really might. I mean, he was eating sterno. How good can that be? Really, this is a man who doesn't make good choices.
What is that? What is sterno?
Sterno, that was the pink crap that he in that intro.
But what
it showed
is it,
him.
though?
It's a candle light. It's for like a lantern you light or
like fuel. Okay.
yeah. For not just a lantern. For like a cooking stove.
Okay. Strong
And it's
Wait, you
pink.
can eat that?
Sterno?
Yeah, I didn't know you could either, but it's he has alcohol problem, so it's
Right.
basically
Well, it is
pure
alcohol. Yeah, it's grain alcohol. That's what it is. It's an alcohol.
And
stove.
he was scooping the pink goop up, and at first I didn't know what that was. And one of our smart, eagle-eyed listeners said he was eating sterno. And I was like, oh yeah, sterno.
Wow. So you can eat it, but you can't live off of it.
Kids, don't try this at home.
I imagine.
You do
yeah.
not eat it. I think that they add something to it so that it's not considered alcohol, so it doesn't fall under regulations. So they add something to it to make it poison. So don't try it.
don't
It's poison,
eat it.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is poison.
Good to know.
Okay. My number 3, is that where we are? Is Rick's arc. So, like I mentioned before, a major theme of this season was whether you can come back from the horrors that you've done. And we first see Rick, he's trying to come back by giving up violence, symbolized by the gun, his gun buried in the dirt, and he's farming and he's trying to show Carl a new way. And he doesn't want to go help kill the zombies even anymore or anything like that. And but then hell breaks loose and the Zeds break through the wall and he and Carl have to shoot them all. And I can't remember when the governor attacked. Did he fight? He must have, right?
Yeah.
Once everything broke out.
Oh yeah, he worked Rick.
No, I mean, did Rick fight?
Oh,
I
Rick
guess-
shot back.
He shot back. Okay.
Yeah.
And he tried to fight the governor, but he lost. Yeah, he was broken. He was a broken man. And then he holed up in that house with Michonne and Carl, and the claimers broke in. He strangled one to death. So he's back to doing these horrific things by necessity. And then when the other claimer almost raped Carl, he gutted him and stabbed him repeatedly. And, he told the governor in his big speech, everyone who's alive right now, everyone who's made it this far, we've all done the worst kind of things just to stay alive, but we can still come back. We're not too far gone. We get to come back. I know we can all change. But then the other side of that we've talked about is that, like Carol's whole thing this season is that if you're too nice, you'll get killed. You got to be tough. And Lizzie's too, really. And that Beth line that I came up with before, you don't get to treat me like crap just because you're afraid, is the other side of that. And I think Rick, in the beginning, he's hiding from the realities of this world because he wants to regain his humanity. But in the end, he realizes that he has to integrate this brutal side with his human loving side and be able to do both depending on what is necessary. That's sort of the culmination of his character. And it kind of reminds me, did you guys ever read Peter David's run on the Incredible Hulk?
No.
So in that run, the Hulk is represented as a manifestation of his inner child, his id, because he was actually, I think they revealed that his father molested Bruce Banner as a kid, and so all that repressed anger came out as the Hulk. But then he went to the superhero psychologist Doc Samson, who taught him how to integrate it all together. So then Bruce Banner was just the Hulk from then on. He never turned back into Bruce Banner, and he was fully intelligent but also very strong. I know that's silly for me to bring that up, but it's just
no, it's great.
came into my mind.
Well,
That's
with
awesome.
Rick, it's the whole thing with Rick is outlined perfectly, I think, in the season finale, I guess, where in one scene he can bite a guy's neck out, and then the very next scene sit down and call Daryl his brother. Right?
Yeah,
Those are the two sides of him. He's brutal enough that he can bite a guy's neck off and still have family kind of thing. So it's all right there.
Totally good. Yeah. And I'm thinking of this now, but maybe if he does go on to be this great leader and, you know, he can be an even greater leader. Maybe this is what you need to be a great leader, is to be able to be brutal when you need to, but be loving the rest of the time.
Yeah, I think some of the other characters in the show, well, when you look at the governor anyways, he's kind of only the one side. I mean, he did have love for his family, but deep down, he seemed to be more of a brutal guy all the time, and that didn't really work out for him. He wasn't able to protect the people when he wanted to protect them. But Rick is finding the balance a little bit more, it looks like.
Well, the governor's only tool in his toolbox is brutality. Right? So even when he's protecting someone he loves, he uses brutality to do that. And it doesn't work for him in reality.
I mean, when the, who was it? Herschel said, you know, you had a daughter. How can you think of threatening somebody else's children? And governor said, because they're not mine. So it's like he didn't care about anybody else but himself and his daughter.
Daughters.
He had 2 daughters?
Well, the adopted daughter,
his adopted.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
She was sort of his, his second daughter.
Surrogate.
Fill in, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? Chris, your turn.
Me, number 2. My number 2 is, for me, a perceived, anyways, stronger connection to the comic in season 4. And, you know, I don't know, because obviously the comic has always been there. It's the source material. I don't know if this season really had more influence from the comic, but for me, it felt like it. And I think Scott Gimple came out at one point and said that he really likes to keep things close to the comic. He likes to go back to that source material and pull out more stuff than I think the previous showrunners did. So, but I could feel it in this season that there was just a little bit more influence from the comic, and I'm a little bit conflicted about that, because as much as I do like to see, and I think it's fun to see the comic come to life on the TV, I also feel like I'm not quite as surprised as much by the show, at least when it comes to the grander storylines. Like, there are individual things and smaller stuff and moments that totally surprise me. But when you think about the whole story, the overall story, I feel like, oh, you know, so Herschel's stuck outside the prison. He's going to get his head cut off. The governor's going to show up with a tank, and there's going to be a big fight. Like, I felt like I could see that coming from a mile away, which for some reason in the previous seasons, I didn't really ever have that feeling. So as much as I like to see it come to life on the TV, sometimes I feel like there's a little bit, if it's too close to the comic, I don't like that either. But overall, I think Scott did a good job, even though he's brought it a bit closer, and who knows where we'll go from here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome to do some things very close, but if you do that too much, then it starts to get predictable. And
it's a hard balance though to get. Right?
Yeah,
because
totally.
I mean, there are probably people out there that are like, I just want to see the comic like frame for frame on the TV, and I don't think that would be thrilling. You know,
I don't think there's very many people like that though.
Well, you're probably right, but at the same time, I don't want it to go way different. I mean, the comic is there. It's interesting source material, and they just got to find that balance. So
yeah, but he is definitely more of a fan. I think it was revealed that when Glenn Mazzara wrote his season 1 episode, Wildfire, I think it was, that he hadn't even read the comic by that point.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, okay, Jason.
All right, so my number 2 has to do with the flu, and it's how it was resolved. No matter how much I like Glenn, and I love Glenn as a character, I love the fact that he's in the show. I love everything that he's done, but in my honest opinion, for the story, he should have died. I think that not having a major character die from that flu really weakened it as a plot element. I mean, sure, Dr. S died, but he's only there for 3 episodes, and I think we needed a major character to die in that flu to give it the impact that it needed.
I'm gonna hang up now.
No, we can't lose you.
Don't
that's
you
it. You're
threaten
out.
my Glenn.
I know. I remember when Dr. S got sick, and I think maybe even after he died, I don't know. But I was like, man, this thing is going to kill, is really dangerous. And then as soon as Glenn got really sick, I just felt like, okay, they're going to find a cure. I didn't really think he was going to die. So if he would have, I would have been totally shocked and sad.
Well, it would have been shocking, and it would have given it a lot of weight. And like I say, I love Glenn. I love the character. I'm glad that he's not dead, but I think that having a major, longtime character not die as a result of that flu really weakened that that storyline.
What do you think about? Maybe you're going to cover this in your number one. So if you are, just tell me. But what do you think that no one big died in the finale? Did that disappoint you?
No, because I think that would have been, it might have been a little too predictable. The fact that having someone die in the finale is a little too kind of, we have to do this because it's the finale and that's what you do in finales.
Totally.
So,
and
no,
it was
I'm not
already like pretty thrilling without needing that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job on the finale without killing anyone. Although I went into it, to be perfectly honest, expecting someone to die. You know, you do kind of expect it. So the fact that no one did is almost more surprising, right? I mean, but then Shane was killed off in the second to last episode. So they've been known to do things that way too. So can't
predict. It's interesting, that it was sort of subverting expectations not to kill anyone, which was, if that won't work unless the episode's already really good without it. But I thought that was good that they didn't. Okay, my turn. Number 2 is what I was missing from this season, and I kind of hope for next season. I've said I like Glenn best when he was awkward and inexperienced in the first couple of seasons. And I think he's gotten a little boring. But I also, this season, towards the end, was starting to get into like him as a full-on hero more than I have before. Still not as much, though, as when he was funny and kind of, stumbling over himself. But either way, I just want him to have meatier storylines next season. Like this season, he got really sick and he seemed to almost want to give up. And Herschel had to kind of bring back his spirits and everything, but he plowed through. And then after that, they got separated and he was determined to find Maggie. And that was pretty much his whole thing this year. And I want to see more like character development with him and just testing him and stuff like that, I guess. Other things I missed, I already mentioned, but I'm not so sure about Abraham and Eugene. They're interesting, but they feel a bit shoehorned in. So I hope they integrate better next season. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with them, though. And I was going to try to think of more, but there really wasn't that much that I was straight up unhappy about. So I like to see them have a little more trouble killing the zombies sometimes, like Abraham did that one time. That'd be cool.
Right.
Yeah, even though he's clearly an experienced zombie killer, he had a bit of trouble that one time.
Yeah.
And you know what else I liked with Abraham is that scene where he pulled the dead body out of the car, and that dead body just ragdolled right out of that car. I thought it was a really good job by the extra, I guess.
Totally.
To just
Unless
ragdoll and flop.
it might have just been a dummy.
You think it was a dummy?
Maybe.
I remember thinking it didn't seem like it, right?
It didn't seem like a dummy to me.
But
they're really good at making anatomically correct dummies that behave like real human bodies. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a stuntman, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of automaton that they created just for this.
Okay. Either way, I thought it looked really awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, number 1.
Me, number 1?
Yep.
All right, number 1. Well, I feel there's sort of been a theme here, at least with my picks all the way through, and almost with everybody, is that we've talked a lot about the characters, a lot about all the different characters. On my list, I started with Tyrese, talked about Carol, Daryl and Beth, Tara, and all that kind of stuff. And my number 1, which you may be able to predict, is Rick, but specifically how they were able to not have Rick in a good portion of this season and still make it interesting and prove that Rick is not although he's the protagonist of this show, he's one of many. And they made all the other characters, they built them up, they gave them episodes, they made them all almost pretty well exclusively interesting. So I went back to check, and Rick was only in 10 of the 16 episodes, which kind of surprised me. He if you think back to season 1 and 2, I can't even imagine him not being in, every single one of those. So to have him only in 10 this year was really, really surprising. And in fact, one of those 10, he was only in one scene for a couple of minutes. So it was almost really only 9, which you're almost approaching half of the season. So, I felt his absence a little bit, but because we got so much good stuff with the other characters, it didn't really bother me. And I'm excited and I'm happy that they have such good characters on this show now and that they're using them all to their potential. And it's not really all about one or two all the time. So, it's just Rick and the fact that he wasn't there for almost half the season, and it still worked really, really well.
Mm-hmm. And it's great to also, just like it can be in real life, to give us the gift of missing him, because I did miss him during that whole time. I wasn't negative. I wasn't thinking it was a mistake, but I was like, no Rick. And then when he came back, it just feels that much better. Like, yes, more Rick stuff,
Yeah, totally. But that says it all right there, that he's good, that you want to see what he's doing and want to see him do stuff, but you also feel that way about the other characters. So,
totally, yeah.
I think they've done a masterful job this year in making all of them really interesting and important to the story. And hopefully that continues. But it occurred to me, because it's rare that you'd have a show, even with a lot of characters like this, where who you think is the main one, the primary character, is gone for 6 out of 16 episodes. So
that's true.
Pretty unusual, and they managed to pull it off.
What do you think, Karen? Do you like they did that?
I am glad they did that. It made it really interesting. I did pine for Rick, but I really after a while I was like, come on. I didn't just miss Rick either. I missed Michonne and I missed Carl. So I missed like the three of them, that group, and I wanted to spend more time with them for sure.
Okay, Jason.
So my number one is a life lesson that I learned from this season. An actual real life lesson that I learned.
Don't get bit.
Scratch.
Don't let people bite you, for one. So up here in Toronto, we had a pretty hard winter. There was an ice storm, and it was cold, and it was long. And my barbecue on the back deck had the cover on it, and my cats, I have 2 cats, and they spent pretty much the entire winter, every night when it got dark at 4:00 in the afternoon, looking out the back patio window to underneath the barbecue. So I was dead sure that there was animals living in that barbecue for the winter. So what I did, and now that spring has finally come to Toronto, it was time to barbecue again. So when I went out to get the barbecue ready to make burgers last weekend, I did exactly what Daryl did at the Big Spot, or the Big Stop, or whatever it was, in the first episode. So he walked up to the window of the Big Stop, and he banged on it and waited for the zombies to come before going in. So what I did was I walked up to that barbecue and I banged on it a couple of times, just to give the animals that may have been living in there a chance to either